Hello and welcome to Kema Freak. My name is Kemi Marube. In the previous video, we drafted a pattern for this wrap peplum jacket, and so if you haven't watched the video, please go check it out. In this video, we'll be stitching the pieces we cut out from that tutorial together to create this beautiful wrap peplum jacket or top. Here are the pieces I cut out for the back, and I'll be starting by sewing in the darts. So from the pattern, I included a 1-inch wide dart, and so I'll just be sewing the dart on the both sides of the back piece. I'll also be doing the same thing on the front piece. So for the front piece, we actually cut out the dart, so I'll just be sewing that dart in 1/2 inch, and I'll reduce that width towards the apex of the dart. I'll do that on the both sides of the front. So here's the back piece and the front piece, my dart sewn. And the next thing I'll be doing now is to join these two pieces together at the shoulder. So I'll be making that for the lining as well. Okay, so I'll be treating the lining separately and the main fabric separately at this point. So first I'll be sewing the shoulder for the back and front pieces together on the main fabric. I'll also do the same thing separately on the lining, and this is what it looks like. This is the main fabric, and I've sewn in the shoulders. So I've done the same thing on the lining. So at this point, I'll be joining the two back pieces to get together, right side facing each other. I'll be sewing by that 1/2 inch seam allowance we added at the center back. Remember that this outfit doesn't have a zip at the back or even anywhere for that. So we are joining the two back pieces together by 1/2 inch along the center back, separately for the lining and the fabric. Remember the 7 inches wide band we cut out for the collar. So I've gone ahead to iron in interfacing and folded it into two. Then I attached it on the neckline from the front through the back to the other side of the front neckline, and so we have this. So from here I'll be laying the wrong side of my outfit on the wrong side of the main fabric, so I can turn it around and sew the band in. So that way I'll be sandwiching the band in between the main fabric and the lining. So I'll also be sewing all over again by 1/2 inch so that we can have a clean finishing. Apologies for the shaky nature of this video. I had a broken tripod and I hadn't replaced it at this point. So I have sewn in the lining, and you can see how neat it looks from the outside. The next thing I'll be doing now is to top stitch on the lining just to hold on that edge, which I have done here, and I'm just turning my lining all over to expose the neat inner finishing. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to hold the overlapping part of this dress, that's the wrap part, over each other. So I will pin down this so that I can join the sides together. So I'm pinning the center front area of this outfit so I can then join the outfit along the sides. I just hope what I'm saying makes sense, because I really am not sure it is making sense to you, but I'll try my best. Now I'll be attaching the front and back pieces together along the side without the lining. So I will be joining the two sides of the fabric together separately, and I'll do the same thing for the lining separately. So we're sewing by 1 inch allowance because I added just 1 inch allowance at the side. So here I'm just cross-checking my measurement to be sure I have exactly what I want. Okay, I didn't want to sew in 1 inch and discover I took in less or more. So once that is done, the next thing I'll be doing is to attach the sleeve to the main fabric. So I've joined the side of my sleeve together by 1 inch, which is the allowance I added while cutting out the sleeve. And now I'll be sewing the armhole curve to the sleeve curve by 1/2 inch, same allowance. that is done. At this point, I've attached the sleeve, and I went ahead to turn the seam allowance of the sleeve there with the lining, so that way I can have a neat finishing along the armhole curve. Okay, so the next thing I'll be working on now is to attach the peplum to this outfit. And we cut out a 360-degree peplum, and I have turned the hem of the peplum over using the lining. Okay, so the lining is attached to the main fabric right here, and so I'll just be finishing up the center back aspect of the peplum by turning this inside out to expose the inner parts of the peplum. So I'll be sewing the center back part by 1/2 inch. So I'm sewing it inward so that when I turn it around, we can have a clean finishing there. That's done. Next, I'll be attaching the peplum to the main outfit, and I'll be starting from one side of the wrap to the other side. First, I'll pin this to the peplum by 1/2 inch, okay, holding it down with my pin so everything stays in place. I'll be stitching this on the peplum with the lining included, and this is the peplum. I have overlocked the top where I'll be attaching to the main piece of outfit, and I'll be sewing by 1/2 inch. Okay, there it is, done and dusted. We have the peplum wrap jacket, and I went ahead to attach belts at the side. I think it would look better if it were to be from the back, but I had to work with the piece of fabric I had left. Thank you very much for watching this far. Please subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next video.